Okay, I think we're on. I think we're on. Yes, we are on. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Today, I'm going to be inking the next page of my comic book. Well, my manga. Sometimes I forget because I have done this in several moments, and sometimes have been a comic. Right now, it's a manga. So, hello, everyone. Hope this time YouTube does show it to someone. And if you see this in the post transmission, hello, how you doing? Hope you like what you see. We're going to be doing the inking phase because I already did the drawing, and I think the drawing is not all that interesting because I need to work very lightly, and that is hard to actually see on the screen while I record it. I have done the test, so that's why I prefer to stick with the inking. I think it's a lot clearer for the viewing, so that's why I prefer to just stick to the inking. And I'm going to be doing a batch of pages. I already have the full script and thumbnails of the episode, but I think I will modify some of the pages, maybe add a bit of extra info because I think I rushed a bit on some areas. So I'm going to be making certain modifications to the thumbnails and a bit of the script, especially to make the pages breathe a bit better, just to don't rush everything. Sometimes I feel that just to maintain the interest of the reader, we can rush a bit, and that is no good for the story. Sometimes you need space to make things better. And as I said on the first episode, I usually like to ink with just this classic G pen, but in Spain it's getting extremely hot, and my ink have been evaporating, so it's not running that greatly. It's getting thicker, so it's getting a little bit harder to work on with the G pen. If I work with a brush, that will be another story, but I'm not that confident with the inking to work on this with a brush. I think that requires another level of security on your work that I don't have. I haven't been working traditionally for all that long. I have been a digital artist for a very long time, and I switch. Sorry, English is not my main language. I switched to traditional media not so long ago. I think I started last year, slowly, but the actual inking have been like less than a year. And I have been doing it mostly for my personal projects because I have been doing it for in the professional way too, but it has been a slow start. just because I really wanna be sure I can deliver a good quality work in the same proportion I can do it with digital media, which of course requires a lot more experience and experimenting, and that's what I have been doing. Not like these ones have been a full blown experimentation. I'm already know what I'm doing, but I did work on some pages when I was working more in a comic style than a manga style, and it was kind of a mixed bag, especially because it was really hard to maintain the style since I was learning how to work on traditional. I was getting influenced by a lot of different sources, and that can lead to inconsistency of style. But right now, I think I have a really decent and consistent workflow, which I think is really nice because it's really daunting when you don't know how to keep working the same way that you have been working in the past few days, because your brain just start to get attracted by the new shiny thing that found online. But I think we're good now, don't we? I think it's looking really good. I would love to have my face showing, but my laptop camera just randomly decided to stop working, and well, OBS just don't recognize it. I can make any workaround, so you gotta stick with my art now. Just, just my art. Whoop. Y por si alguien más también está por ahí en español, pues español es mi lengua materna. I just hope that my English is not so choppy and you can actually understand what I'm saying. Because sometimes I feel like my English is very I don't know what the hell am I saying sometimes. So right now this is kind of a spoilery, but not so much because this happens in the first few pages. Okay, so we're getting into the second panel, and this one is going to be having a lot of radiating lines because that's how I decided to do these freaking trees. They look good. They look good, really good. But of course, sometimes it can be a bit of a pain in the ass to work this out. But well, you gotta stick what you did in the previous pages. And actually, it's kind of a relaxing thing to do. You just shut your brain off and just start to make some lines. That is relaxing, you know? You just have to be sure not to get too excited with the lines and don't cross the borders, the edges. But I don't know what the hell, why the hell say borders. So come on, YouTube, come on, show it to someone, show it to someone. I gotta make sure with that the audio is going correctly because yep, the audio is going correctly. Okay, so I have to make sure this is going more to the center, so the transmission in vertical format. Mhm. And the last one over here. I guess this is the kind of work that if I were to be a great mangaka and all that stuff, is the kind of work that I will leave to my assistants. Because it's the kind of boring work that doesn't require you to make a lot of hard decisions and all that stuff. Okay, I think I will leave it that and I will finish it later. Just not to make this so boring. Now we go to this really big guy. But for the longest time I didn't knew what name to put this creature that I designed. So I asked online, what kind of name do you think will be good for this kind of creature? And I had a ton of names. Yeah, sorry, sometimes this consumes too much mental energy and I need to just completely focus on what I'm doing. Just too much mental RAM to be talking and drawing at the same time. Talking consumes a certain level of mental RAM, and sometimes I need to use my full RAM to be sure to make this correctly. Okay, so the name. The name of the creature, there was a ton of names, but one stood amongst the many, many, many names I received, and someone called them Curapodos. And I think it meant, what the hell what was what it meant? It meant something like mm, bipedal creature, something like that. I don't remember correctly right now, but it was a cool name. So I stuck with it. I need to credit that person actually. I need to look for his name on my other YouTube channel and credit it correctly because it was a great name. Sometimes I would like to be the kind of person that really have the confidence to work with a pen because a brush, sorry, because the only thing that sometimes I really don't like about working with a pen is that sameness of the line. It's always the same thickness, and yeah, I can sometimes make small corrections and make them a bit lighter, but it's not the the general look. I would like to have full control on the size that I get and be able to sometimes have a full size larger, not just to change my brush, sorry, my pen to have a larger or smaller line. I would really like to be more confident and be able to work with a brush. But it is what it is. Well, already starting to look really good. I will put on some music because sometimes I get out of things to say, and some lo-fi, it's always nice in the background. This is looking really yummy. Okay, so this is one of those things that when designing this cloth, this clothing for them, the part of the boots, it's kind of interesting because I like the designs to have some grounded feel. I don't like to design just for the looks. And when I was designing this idea, and I need to check a reference over here because I don't remember how I designed this backpack in the back area. I need to see this. Where is it? Here it is. Yes, here it is. I needed to see how the backpack looked, so I kept the same design because I didn't remember exactly how I went with it. Yeah, baby. So I need to change. I was talking about the boots, and the boots I want them to feel grounded. The overall uniform, but the boots especially because I'm no hiker, but I understand how that thing works because boots is one of the feet are one of those area where you lost heat extremely easy. So the boots need to be really resistant, but it needs to be around these materials that they could manufacture. And so I went with the tribes. What are the name? The Alaska people. Damn it. Well, those guys. I will eventually remember. And their design is the motto. And if they had that design living in that place in that conditions, that meant it was a really good design, and they made it with an old skin. So why would I just try to fix something that ain't broken. So I decided to go with that design. This will be filled with a lot of details. So in this area, I will straight go with the more thicker lines, as I need this area to be dark. Also this one. Yep, that looks awesome. It's time to go with this small area that is the place that they are looking in this panel. There are ways to gain a little bit of extra control with a fine liner. It's not always that effective, especially when you're working with these small areas. You can still just make some inclinations with the tip, and you will have thinner lines. But it's not always that effective, you know? I'm getting tired. I have already been drawing all day when I start drawing these pages. This is usually the price of your passion projects. You need to do it at the end of the day when you are already really tired of whatever you do for a living. Either is if you do live from art and you work, I don't know, in commissions and you have your contract in some studio or something like that, you will most likely be drawing all day. So to keep drawing the rest of the day of or your resting hours, it's really hard. And if you do not work drawing, but your work is really mentally taxing, getting the energy, the mental energy, the physical energy to start drawing when you are already really tired is really hard. It's hard to really push push yourself to do this, but I really want to do this. So even though I am kind of exhausted, the reward of getting this done is a lot bigger than, I don't know, just going straight to video games or something like that, or just keep working with whatever I was doing. I think this is fine like this because all of this over here is just snow. So it needs to be a little better. Stay hydrated, guys. Always stay hydrated. Now we go to the close-up of the spaceship, the grounded spaceship. For this, I think I will be working with a small ruler because although I do like some more natural looking lines, I I don't want them to look choppy neither. Like in Jujutsu Kaisen manga, God, sometimes that manga just went straight to working scribbles. Yeah, just a mixture of very straight lines and some very shaky, well, a little bit shaky natural lines. Whew. This. So we are already getting into the 40 minutes transmission, and I think I will be leaving this page right here because I'm getting really tired, and I'm feeling that I will start to get shaky and will start to lose precision, and I really don't want to mess this up. Adding depth to the shadows help to create the sense of three-dimensionality, to weight. I hope you didn't catch that, but my son is screaming very, very high pitch, very loud. He's just a baby, and it's testing his lungs. But yeah, I'm gonna just make it a call today, and I'm proud of this. This looks good. So I know nobody showed up, but I hope someone does show up after the transmission ends. So thank you very much for showing up over here, and I hope YouTube will show this eventually to someone. So have a nice day and keep drawing. Goodbye.